This is by far the easiest and fastest way to scrape, even doing advanced scraping with tool. Actually, the most useful tool, in my opinion, these days, and I've been testing and messing around with many different tools. Very excited to share with these guys because, as you probably know, extracting data and scraping websites very valuable. In this video, we will cover the basics. If you guys enjoy this video, make sure to do more advanced stuff such as using web scraping and triggering alerts, changes in websites of competitors or prospects using this tool. But let's dive into the basics. I'm sure that you guys know what is web scraping. Won't cover this. If you're interested in scraping stuff, most straightforward and easy solution would be using this Chrome extension, which is called Instant Data Scraper. Just allows you to scrape whatever you want. Just select, let's say, group, all members, click this button, and it's going to fetch the URLs, the name, when they have joined, etc. And just start crawling. It knows how to handle infinite scrolling, etc. So this is straightforward solution. You can also work on Google Maps. I'm here. Let's class, gym class, exists. If it doesn't find the correct table, you just click this button, try another table, and get what the result that you want. Then you just download it, CSV or Excel file. So this is for the like 90% of the time. If you're doing like simple extraction, this Chrome extension is going to get the job done. You can obviously Apollo with this or do a lot of stuff as well. It doesn't work on some websites such as LinkedIn because they impose some restrictions, limitations on the extension, but in general, for 90% of the use cases, it's going to be enough. Now, if you want to know how to scrape, I sometimes use RPA tools such as Microsoft Power Automate. This way, I can automate a workflow, also all different pages, scrape specific parts of a page, etc. So you build like a workflow that contains also scraping, but this is like a no-code technical solution. But these days with AI coding assistance, I believe that these no-codes are becoming obsolete. And this is why I highly recommend checking out Windsurf by Codium. By the way, I'm not affiliated with them. I don't have not an affiliate link description. It's just the best AI coding assistant currently available these days. Costs $15 per month, and it's a no-brainer. If you need to cancel your OpenAI or Claude membership in order, or any membership in order to get this deal, if you have like limited funds, I highly recommend doing so. So this is Windsurf by Codium. This is the IDE, and let me show you a few things that I did. This is the conversations that I had. So basically, I asked it to crawl a website, a podcast that is called My First Million. So I provided it with the URL, and what it did, it just scraped the recent episodes because it has web search abilities. And then I told it, return it in JSON. I also need the links, created the JSON. So podcast name, title, and the link, as you can see. I didn't do anything. It's basically only natural language. And then I wanted it to find all the recent videos in my page and download all thumbnails. So we went kind of back and forth. Eventually, initially it wanted to do like an API call using Google, but then I told him, listen, I only want web scraping, no APIs. So it adjusted and wanted to use Beautiful Soup, which is a Python library for web scraping. Didn't work. So it suggested that it will use Selenium. So adjusted, then it didn't work again. Self-adjusted itself, added this package, this library, which is called YTDLP, which is a package to handle YouTube videos, and eventually it just here extracted. Now, I mean, just using natural language. Now let's, for the sake of, want to demonstrate how this works, let's come up with a new thing that we would like to say. Let's go. What can go to Team Ferris blog? Better. All episodes. Yes. Here. Can you now scrape all the data available about the podcast of Team Ferris? Specifically, look at this web page. I'm going to paste it. I'll help you scrape Team Ferris podcast data. Let me create a script to extract the information from his blog. Basically, Cascade, which is the feature by Windsurf, it feels like a very powerful AI agent because it can actually do a sequence of reasoning and coding and automation. As you can see, and it can also execute code, which is amazing. So it said, I'll help you create the scraper. I've created a script that will scrape all podcast episodes from Team's blog, extract the following information for each episode: title, episode number, available, publication date, link to the full episode, description or excerpt, save all in a structured JSON file. Let's make sure we have the required packages. So it's going to install Beautiful Soup 4, which is, as I said, library for extracting data or scraping. Now let's run the script to scrape the podcast data. And I don't think it worked. I don't want it to use Beautiful Soup. I see that we need to make some adjustments to handle pagination and modern web scraping challenges. Let me update the script. Let me just pause this. Please use Selenium or Playwright. I don't want it to use Beautiful Soup 4. I want it to use a different framework. So Selenium or Playwright. Let's see what it does. Just to Selenium. By the way, lately, whenever I'm doing any technical stuff, I'm also making that I'm using Google AI Studio. And when I'm not sure about something, I just share the screen and ask Gemini to elaborate real time. So let me show you an example. Can you explain this code to me?
Sure, I can help with that. This Python code appears to be designed to scrape YouTube channel pages for video information using the YTTLP library. It imports several libraries, defines a function to get video info from a URL, and sets options for the YTDLP command line tool. Would you like me to elaborate on any particular part of the code?
No, that's fine. Thank you. So this is useful when you want to start going back and forth and getting another opinion. It's like having expert over your shoulder. You can obviously give it detailed system instructions to let's move on. Let's see what Windsurf generated. Ban this. Opening aid. Going to install the Selenium WebDriver. worked, should work, it will work, but obviously cannot expect, and this is also very often people have mis-expectations regarding AI. They expect that AI will come out of the blue with a shitty prompt like one that I had and just solve all our issues, but it doesn't work like this. We need to give detailed prompts. We need to provide detailed guidelines, limitation, recommendation in order for stuff to work. So it does require a few iterations, but eventually get a detailed and full robust script that can help you scrape stuff. So it's very powerful and useful. Let's see what it does. I see that we need to make one more adjustment to handle modern websites better. Let me update the script to use Playwright instead of Selenium, as it tends to handle modern web applications better. So as you can see, this is Windsurf, in opposing to other AI coding assistants, is pretty hands-off. Does a lot of stuff on its own, just asking for approval whenever necessary, but in general, it's pretty independent, which I like. So Playwright and the dependencies. All the Playwright browser. Alternatively, and this check in a moment, is you can see what happens when I just mention the website here. If Windsurf can extract the data based just on pulling the HTML, let's run the Python script. And checking JSON file. This is why I love this, because it also checks to see the output. Don't even need to check the stuff on your own, and it can also analyze the issue. I apologize for the issue. It seems we're having trouble with website dynamic content loading. Let me try one more approach using Playwright with additional weighting and error handling. So it analyzes the output on its own and adjusts file on its own. Curious to see. I think I will, anyway, I'm going to continue this video until we get it done, because I know that some of you are interested in debugging, troubleshooting, error handling. So yeah, let's just make this video until this is solved. So I'm, as you can see, I'm not doing much. I'm just clicking, I'm just approving whatever Windsurf is telling me. Let me take the JSON file. Cannot view, which does not exist. No credit consumed on this. Seems that we're having trouble with the anti-scraping measures. Let's try one final approach using Playwright with a more robust configuration. Let's see what it does. Yeah, probably Team Ferris has Cloudflare and anti-scraping measures act. Maybe it's the Popup. Let's see if it's Cloudflare. BuiltWith is a website that tells you basically the tech stack website. WorldKit for emails, Yoast, WooCommerce, our WordPress website, Jetpack. No Cloudflare. Maybe else. Okay, let's see. What is Windsurf now? If it doesn't work, I will tell it first of all to make sure that it closes any pop-up that appears, because the pop-up might be the issue. As you can see here, it has created a logs file. Log no episodes. It's pretty cool. It created a log file. It's very useful. Please note that very often I see a pop-up appear on the website. So maybe we need to come up with a mechanism that closes the website and only afterwards wait 2 seconds and then scrapes all the data. See what it does. Again, just using natural language, very convenient. Good catch. The pop-up is likely interfering with our scraping. Let's modify the script to handle the pop-up before proceeding with the scripting. With the scraping. Depends. It creates a log. I love the very easy for it afterwards. Like every time it iterates, just looks at the log file and based on this, it's going to iterate. Updating this file. One thing that I see with Windsurf and other coding assistants, that it handles context and large code bases very well, probably related, first of all, to the system prompt, and also to the fact that I see very often that it analyzes files in chunks. So if you have a big script, like let's say has encountered an internal error in this step, no credits, yes, they're likely a user. So it if you have a script like 100 rows long, lines long, you're going to chunk it to 2 files of 50 lines each. So this way it's probably either, I don't know the mechanism, if it summarizes the chunks and based on this decides what to do next, but the fact that it kind of chunks down the context seems to be yielding better results than just trying to read a huge amount of context, because then very often AI coding assistants get confused. Let's see what's going on now. Don't know why this is the performing of throwing an error. Ran out. Credits. I assume that if I would have let me know. As you can see, it made 252, 105 changes. Now it's asking me to run the updated script. See, I have a good feeling about this, but I might be wrong. And Python 5. Here it checks for pop-ups, because I gave it a hint that I think pop-up might be messing up the scraping. Log. Loading website, checking for pop-ups. What it is doing, but it might be scraping already, but I'm guessing that checked pop-up, it found pop-ups on. check for pop-ups, initial content loaded, started page scroll, checking for pop-ups. As you can see, it is progressing. Putting all the in. Ferris spot. Going to write the features. So you know what? Let's pause this. I need you to optimize the script so it will work faster. Now very often it just writes the script, even if it is working or not. We still want to optimize it and make sure that we are making the script is the most efficient and effective. So I ask it to optimize. I'll optimize the script for better performance. Here are the key optimizations: reduce wait times and make them more dynamic. Use parallel processing for data extraction. Optimize selector and reduce redundant checks. Cache selector results. Use faster data structure. As you can see here, connection closed while reading from the driver because I paused the script. Let's updating the file now. Let's start again. Moment. Very curious. Let's see what happens if I just try to use simple instructions. It tells me about the optimizations that it made. Let's run the optimized script. Now let's try with this one. This is the native function for web searching. It's provided by Cascade. Analyze the content. I'll create a Python script that will scrape and you just fetch the HTML first. I need to fetch the HTML first before it creates any Python scripts. It still wants to create a paper. Let's see what's going on here. Checking for pop-up. Doesn't seem to be working. Too many requests for URL. Failed to fetch. I see we're getting too many requests. It's probably understanding that we're trying to do something. Yes, it's blocking us. Let's see. Windsurf is going to solve this on its own. Fetching the page. Great, we've successfully fetched the page content. Now that we reliably fetched the page, would you like me to proceed with parsing the HTML to extract the podcast episode? Yes, please. This is a different approach. There's always another approach, always a different way to parse extracted data. Not sure why this is taking so long. Log, let's see. If the pop-up doesn't appear, make sure to move on or send me an error because we don't want to keep waiting until the pop-up appears. If it's there, it is there. Otherwise, it is not there. Made the adjustments on that script. working in parallel, trying to figure this out as fast as possible. Fetching the page, found one episode, first 3 episodes. First 3 episodes. So this is the recent episode with Naval Ravikant updating Python. Let's see what's going on here. Or let's opening. We're fetching the page, found 10 episodes, first 5 episodes, Naval Ravikant and Aaron Stupel, tactics and strategies for a 2025 reboot, the random show, Dr. Becky Kennedy, the 4-hour work week revisited. Nice, great. We are successfully escaping the episode. The script found. Let's check the JSON. Got it. Actually, this is a. You can see here we have the title, we have the URL, we have the episode number. Nice. I'm actually surprised that this method works. It's like the more simplistic method. Was a Hail Mary because I was kind of embarrassed that I wasn't able to pull it off during the recording. But I'm happy how like the pressure is off. Let's try to solve this from here. And we'll give it like 5 more minutes, otherwise we'll call it. But the main idea is, first of all, Windsurf is amazingly powerful. Second idea is, if you want to scrape these days, you don't need anything. You just need to know how to speak English, and Windsurf or some sort of a AI coding assistant. You can use also Klein, connect DeepSeek, minimize expenses, or use Windsurf. As we here, it is opening front end. Expect it opening the front end, and it's running the automation. Empt. Oh, it has a pop-up. Pop-up. This is the browser that is being automated. Started podcast scraping. For this, I suggested that we scrape the HTML to a file and then we parse it. So we're going to create 2 different scripts. So first, we are going to download the podcast HTML using Python, and then the second script will parse the saved HTML. So this is a different approach for scraping data. And the whole thing that I want you guys to understand regarding scraping, it requires creativity. It requires knowledge of what are the available routes to scrape, and also understanding how websites work and kind of probing the flow. When does the pop-up appear? If it appears, does it appear many times, even after you closed it? Do you need to log in? Do you need to log out? Stuff like this. And it does require some trial and error, like anything in life. But once you do this a few times using the help of Windsurf, you can get really great results. Obviously, you can scrape more complex stuff. Upcoming videos, I'll show you more advanced things that are actually useful for prospecting, stuff like this. Let's just see this in action. Downloading the HTML, download podcast HTML. File, the HTML. Now it wants to parse the podcast HTML. Let's see what it does. I've created two-step approach that first downloads the podcast. Take a look how amazing is Windsurf. Downloads the HTML using both request Selenium methods, saves the raw HTML to file and podcast page request, uses headless mode for Selenium to avoid browser pop-up, implements infinite scrolling to get all content, parse podcast, parses the save HTML file using Beautiful Soup, extracts all episodes information, saves the results to a JSON. Let's check the JSON file. It contains the episodes, hopefully, because it doesn't, so work. Let me check didn't, so it's going to check the HTML files that were created. HTML file seems fine. Seems we need to add more logging to see what's happening. Let me update the download script to be more verbose. So it's going to make the adjustments. So far, I'm using Windsurf for 3 weeks now, and to be honest, I didn't encounter a challenge or a problem that we were not able to solve. Sometimes it takes more time because you need to do many iterations and approach it from a different avenue, but it's always working pretty well. Let's see now how it's going to solve this, and it's going to be the last shot. I'm so happy that I was able to generate what I wanted over here, because otherwise I probably would have started sweating, being afraid of under delivering. Let's check the download log. Download log. In my opinion, it's a masterpiece. Such a great logging. Very beautiful. Saying might have issues with Firefox. I don't think it's related. Never mind. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. If you liked it, please leave a comment in the comment section, and also like. More technical debugging. Some people might find these boring videos more useful. In my opinion, these videos are helpful. Otherwise, I wouldn't have uploaded it. And it is useful for people who advanced stuff. Obviously, like and subscribe. If you have any questions, leave them below. Until next time, keep on